Good evening. Welcome back, everyone, to another night of Alpha Star Radio right here on DTM Wicked Radio. Tonight, we're going to do something kind of fun for a change. I've thrown a lot of heavy stuff at you the last couple of weeks, kind of scary stuff, you know, with Tom and Bunker Report, and Dana with Fukushima, me bitching and moaning about Netanyahu and our corrupt government. So tonight, it's going to be about love, romance, and sex. Yep, I said it. It's going to be a fun show. I will be joined probably about the half-hour mark by a friend of mine named BJ, and we're gonna discuss how we met and how soulmates are not necessarily just lovers. There's a soul sister connection and stuff. So, speaking of sex, once you get to know what I do, I talk about three phases. I talk about Uranic moon phase. I talk about a Moonic moon phase and a Plutonic moon phase. So, in a few days, actually the 29th, that starts what? Tomorrow? 29th, the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st of September. We move into what's called a Plutonic Scorpio window. Now, what this means, and luckily we're in a waxing moon, so it won't be quite as bad. But watch the news and you'll see what I mean. This energy rules sex, it rules passion, and it rules lust. And if you're in a relationship, well, you know, I say shag away this weekend. I don't know how else to put it. Have fun. If you aren't in a relationship and you do go out, just be careful. Know your surroundings. And one general rule of thumb out there is to never get really intoxicated under this phase, or you may find yourself in some danger. But luckily we have the planets of Venus, Jupiter making their appearance along with Pluto, and Venus rules love, Jupiter is luck and expansion, and obviously Pluto is death, life, and sex. So with those other two planets, it might not be as bad as it usually is. Now, passion is in the air. However, this energy does bring out the rapists, the serial killers. You're going to see the cops in full force. Hopefully they won't beat the crap out of anybody. I'm sorry. I had this real issue with police brutality, so bear with me. Now, this phase also rules the mafia and the CIA. And like I just said, we're in the waxing moon, so we may not hear about too many disturbing issues making the news. But also this phase rules. It's the perfect time for any type of paranormal investigation. As Scorpio rules not just sex, but witchcraft, the metaphysical world. It rules the underworld. So watch the news, 29th, 30th, 31st, and 1st. You'll see a lot of interesting things happening with the police. Maybe even in the pornography industry, because this does rule the porn industry too. Now, we had a famous couple get married just recently, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and I'm going to go and break down their stars in a minute. I want to talk to everyone about something I learned when I was learning what they call astropsychology. It's the combination of psychology with astrology. No, I am not a licensed psychologist. That's why I don't call myself an astropsychologist. My teacher calls himself that, but I cannot do that. There are laws in this world that we have to abide by, and you can't claim that you are a psychologist unless you have a degree. But I am an astrologist, an ancient one at that. The laws of attraction tonight are astrologically based. Now, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to talk about the 5th and the 7th house, because these are the two houses that rule marriage. The 7th house rules marriage, contracts, and partnerships, and the 5th house rules love and romance. And obviously, the 8th house is sex. That is the sex house. But if you can't, I'm going to use Aries as an example because it's the beginning of the zodiac. Aries, if you count down from 5, and yes, everyone, you're going to count on your fingers. Count down from 5 from the month of April. Aries. April, May, June, July, August. Number 5, August. An Aries will always be attracted to a Leo. A Leo will always attract a Sagittarius, and a Sagittarius will always attract an Aries. Just like a Taurus will attract a Virgo will be attracted to Capricorn, and Capricorn will be attracted to Taurus. So that's circles. Same with the air signs, same with the water signs. A Pisces will always attract a Scorpio or a Cancer. They fall into those houses. It's the 5th house of love. So sometimes when people meet, there's this spark, there's this love connection. It may not work out because there may be other stars involved that don't make them compatible. But these 2 houses are very important for that placement, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Now, there are certain placements in one's stars that will tell whether, listen up, guys, will tell whether a man will need Viagra later in his years. I know you laugh, but don't laugh because it's true. I'm going to talk about a couple of planets that give people, men and women, their sex drives, and some are more potent than others. The planet Mars. Wherever Mars is placed in a human being's chart, well, this represents danger on the negative. Wherever Mars is in your chart represents some danger. My Mars is in Pisces. Pisces is water. Luckily, my dragon's head's in Pisces, so I'm always blessed with the water. But if I didn't have that north node of the dragon in Pisces, I could probably drown. I have to watch myself around water. So, with that being said, on the positive, Mars also represents the desire principle in people. This is what a man wants in a woman and what a woman wants in a man, what they desire. High sex drives. Well, Mars, which is desire, in Scorpio, sex is operating at its utmost passionate self. This is a very high libido placement for people. Men who have this and women are horny sons of bitches. Let's just put it that way. Let's just be blunt. Now, on the negative, this can be negative too. Mars in Scorpio, if their stars are afflicted, and I as the astrologer will be the one that can see this, this is going to create a, how do I put this? For example, if Mars is placed in a man's 7th house of marriage, partnership, and contracts, yeah, he'll have a strong libido, but he's also going to beat the crap out of his spouse. I can see that a mile coming. And I've offended many people when I've done their chart. And I've said, okay, I'm going to say something to you now, and you may take offense to this, but the stars do not lie. And I have to be honest with what I'm seeing. And I had this experience once. I was doing someone's chart, and I noticed it. And when I brought that up, the woman didn't want to hear any more about it. We're done. That's it. We're done. I knew right then I had tapped into something that was probably, I'm not going to say it wasn't my place. Like I said, the stars don't lie. But I think she freaked out. She's like, holy cow. She's reading right through me like a book. That's the negative. That doesn't mean that anybody with this placement is prone to doing that. That's not true at all. There's always negative and positives in everything. Now, on the negative, too, this can also represent the rapist or someone killing for sex or in the name of sex. This can also be, what the hell are the people that like to screw the dead? Necrophilia? Necrophiliacs. That, it also, on the negative, can produce that. The next placement is Venus in Scorpio. This is ultimate sexual power. Now, this isn't this is an intensity of passion right here. I know a lot of friends that have this placement that are female and they're Scorpio. Does this mean that, you know, they're this or they're that or they're crazy? No, not at all. But in the negative, yes, this is also the placement where the girlfriend or boyfriend turns psycho, meaning if I can't have you, nobody else can have you either, or I broke up with you and I'm stalking you, I'm following you, I'm going places, and I'm seeing what you're doing, constantly spying. This is also the jealous girlfriend or boyfriend, always being, always accusing their significant other of not giving enough or not doing enough for them, or being very possessive and jealous and wanting their attention at all times. I've known friends of mine who have dated men with this placement, and the men are extremely jealous of their daughters. And it's like, okay. And I was speaking from my personal experience with some of my friends who are Scorpio that have dated a man who's not a Scorpio but had a Venus in Scorpio. And it can be a selfish love depending on the placement. Now, it doesn't pertain to all. Next is anybody born with a moon, a Venus, a Mars, or a Jupiter in Scorpio. This is going to produce individuals with extremely strong sexual urges. In some cases, it can almost be to the being addicted to sex. What is that called? A nymphomaniac. We went from necrophilia to nymphomaniac. So, if you guys know out there your placement, you may want to think about it for a minute. Now, a Jupiter, which is luck and expansion in Scorpio, well, this is going to produce a man who's very well endowed. Hello, ladies. And a strong sexual drive. So, it's a win-win for the lady, I guess, or the man, if it's a gay couple. Well, on to the negative. Saturn. Saturn is the fear principle, and all of us. We all have a Saturn placement somewhere. Saturn is the fear principle. Saturn is also on the positive structure and discipline. But if you have a Saturn placed in Scorpio, this is going to produce a fear of sex or not feeling comfortable with sex. In a man, this is going to produce someone with a small penis. Yep, I said it. And in a woman, this may have hard labor or birthing. So if it's a woman, she may not be able to, she'll be able to produce children, but labor is just going to be awful. Very hard, very difficult. Now, all of these factors, nothing is ever said and done and final. Everyone has to look into their stars to see where these placements are. But those are just a few of them. And I have to tell you that several years ago when I was a student, I was doing a reading on someone. This is before I ever had the software, and I used to do the readings freehand, which took me like 4 or 5 hours to do instead of 10 minutes. Not that I do readings in 10 minutes, but to get the information. And it takes me another couple hours to process it and read it to you. But this lady asked me, I am dating this man, he's wonderful, he's this, he's that, but there's just we're compatible, and I'm ashamed to tell you what it is that's wrong. So I looked at his stars, and I looked at her stars, and I said to her, why don't I say it for you so you don't have to feel so shallow? She said, okay. And I said, he's a wonderful man, he does this, he does that. You're having issues with his small penis. She kind of sat there with her jaw down going, oh my God, how did you know that was it? The stars don't lie, baby. That's why. Now, remember, I was listening to a show this morning by my friend Tony Wolfpaw, and they were talking about this subject too. And all of us ladies were in the chat room this morning, and some of us said, well, and this is true, it's not the size, it's what you can do with it. So remember that. It's not the size, it's what you can do with it. Do I have everyone blushing now? This is definitely a show my mother will not be listening to. Never. Anyway, on to soulmates. Soulmates. We have many soulmates. There's not just one soulmate for us on this planet. There are many soulmates. Soulmates aren't just lovers. A soulmate can come in all different forms. They can come in a sisterly bond. They can come in a brotherly bond. You can even have a male and a female that can be soulmates without even being lovers. It's a bond that's from a past life. There's this connection. There's an instant connection with people. And in this life, you are at your closest of friends or lovers, depending on the whole aspect of the chart. Even like brothers and sisters, it's an unconditional love. And there have been many people that have come into my life that actually fall in that fifth house. I'm a Capricorn. I've met many Tauruses. And it's not a romantic thing. I have a good friend who's a male, and he's a Taurus. He's my brother. He calls me a sis. We've adopted each other as brother and sister. He's always there for me, and I am always there for him. I love him wholeheartedly. He is my bro. He does a show here on DTM as well with Christina George on Wednesday nights, UFOs and Beyond. You have Aliens, UFOs, and Beyond. I think that's the name of the show. He and I, when we first met, I knew him for a couple of years through the internet. And when he and I first met, there was this instant click with him. And it wasn't a sexual thing. It was an intellectual thing. It was a, oh my God, I feel like I've known you all my life. And we sat up for hours talking. We could have sat up all night talking. And we talked about things that the average person wouldn't talk about. You know, we were talking about reptilians, and we were talking about the Kennedy assassination, and who's really in control of this world, and the hidden government. We were talking about things that not all people can talk about with each other. We clicked. And till this day, we are so close. We're such good friends, and I'm so blessed to have him in my life. That was a soulmate connection, and I'm convinced that he was my brother in a past life, or maybe even my father, or maybe we were even husband and wife in a past life. And in this life, we're good friends. So remember that when you make a connection like that with someone, it could be a sexual attraction. It could be a friendship attraction. My girlfriend that's coming on with me in about 10 minutes, we're going to talk about how we clicked. One thing about Capricorn and Scorpio is this. Even though Scorpio falls into Capricorn's third house, Scorpio's third house is Capricorn. So the lines of communication between these two signs is excellent. And Scorpio is very good for Capricorn. Scorpio kind of pulls Capricorn out of their rigidness. It's beautiful. Now, I'm going to go into something here. We just had a famous wedding. Angelina Jolie, who was born on June 4th, 1975. Her son's in Gemini. We have Brad Pitt, who was born December 18th, 1963. His sun's sign is in Sagittarius. All right, I'm going to make you count on your fingers again. June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 7. Number 7. Angelina Jolie's son falls right into his 7th house of marriage, partnerships, contracts. Okay, these two are soulmates. I can't guarantee how long it'll last, because usually in Hollywood, once you marry, it's done. It lasts a year and it's over, but I'm hoping this is something like Paul Newman and, what's her name, Joanne Woodward. Paul Newman and her were married for like 46-something years, and he just passed, less than 2 years ago? I met him once. He's a really cool dude. I'll tell you that story later if we have time. Now, Angelina's Mars, which is the desire principle, is in Aries. And Brad's is in Capricorn. Now, of all the placements in the zodiac, this is the best placement. I don't care if you're doing a love chart or your own personal natal chart. Anyone who has a Mars in Capricorn is they're going to have the energy of Aries, but the structure and discipline of Capricorn. But a Mars in Aries makes the person kind of aggressive. The planet of war and blood and fire is right on the same sign. So this is double energy. These two are compatible, though. This is the best placement for these two planets, regardless. Now, I always talk about a descendant. A descendant is your rising sign. And I've noticed in many love charts that I have done that some people who have a descendant, if you have a descendant, let's use Aquarius. They're a Taurus, but they have a descendant in Aquarius. These people are usually attracted to that sign. I don't know what it is. They just seem attracted to that sign. Brad's descendant is in Virgo. Angelina Jolie's descendant is in Virgo, and Brad's descendant is in Pisces. This is a polar opposite. 7th house again, polar opposite. It's beautiful. Angelina's moon is in Leo, and Brad Pitt's moon is in Sagittarius. Fire attracts fire. Both have fire moons. Angelina's Venus is in Leo, and Brad Pitt's Venus is in Capricorn. Venus is love. Wherever Leo is, Leo will always bring out Capricorn's rigidness towards sex. So needless to say, I'm going to go out here on a limb and say that Angelina is the one in control in the bedroom. Yep. Let's see here. What else did I write down for you guys? Now, this is beautiful, too. Brad and Angelina's son both reside in their 7th house. That's a soulmate match. On the aspects or the configurations that my software does, their compatibility index of harmony is at a 2.33. Brad Pitt's Venus trines Angelina Jolie's ascendant. Beautiful. Brad Pitt's sun trines Angelina Jolie's moon. Beautiful. First number right out of the bat for these two is up in the 1400s. You don't see too many love charts with that number. And when I see something in the minus right off the bat that's a high number, I don't want to discourage people and say, oh, this is never going to work. I have done that before because the numbers are so low. But I have to let them see their strengths and their weaknesses and how to use tolerance with each other and not rub each other the wrong way. And this isn't any relationship. However, I did another love chart that I want to talk about, and their numbers, they're not world famous like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, but they are very famous here in DTM Wicked Radio world. And their numbers were higher, double Brad Pitt's and Angelina Jolie's. And I am talking about Tiffany and Denny, the owners of this lovely radio station. I asked for permission to do this before I went ahead and did this, and I want to break it down for you just a little bit. I'm not going to reveal all the details because this is something between the couples, and it's none of our business. I'm the astrologer, so I see it all, but it's none of your business out there. This is between the couples. But Tiffany's descendant is in Gemini. I was talking about the rising sign. Denny's is in Aquarius. Air attracts air. Aquarius, countdown from 5. February, March, April, May, June. Number 5, House of Love. Tiffany's sun is in Virgo. Denny's sun is in Taurus. Countdown again with me. May, June, July, August, September. Falls right into that House of Love. Tiffany's moon is in Capricorn. Denny's moon is in Taurus. Beautiful. Compatibility. Venus is love. The moon is your emotions. So these two know how to work in harmony with their emotions, and when one is struggling, the other's there to help. It's beautiful. We should all be so lucky to find this. You two are awesome. Adorable couple. Let me go on here. Tiffany's Mercury's in Leo. This is, Mercury is your mind, your thought process, your mental process. Denny's Mercury is in Gemini. Air is always going to attract fire. And so these two, communication-wise, work in perfect harmony. Tiffany's Venus is in Virgo, and Denny's Venus is in Aries. Now, this is an interesting aspect. You know, Virgo is the critical sign of the zodiac. I don't, you know, of all the Virgos I've met, and maybe she can concur with me later on this, Virgos are usually very critical, but not all. I've met a few that aren't, and because of her star placement, she's probably not as critical, but they're perfectionists. Venus in Aries is very, a Venus in Aries in a woman has a tendency to scare men away. I know several women with a placement like this, and I've heard men go, damn, she's aggressive, I'm scared of her, get away from me. In a man, it's not so bad. You know, I guess it's, how do I say this? It's more expected of the man, I guess, to be more aggressive. I mean, that's just the role of, through the ages of the sexes. You know, but then again, there are some men that like to be pulled around by their tie, you know. But this is a very beautiful placement. Both of them have Mars and Cancer, making this perfect harmony. Tiffany's Sun trines Denny's Sun. The strength here is over 1,400 plus for the first right off the bat. It's awesome. It's beautiful. Tiffany's Sun trines Denny's Jupiter. The strength here is over 500. Their compatibility index and harmony is at 4.24. That's high. Anytime you get over the 200s, you're dealing with soulmates. You're dealing with and yes, there's a lady in the chat room, Trish, who's saying full of sarcasm. Yes, my dear, you are so right on the money on that. Full of sarcasm. Well, we need sarcasm. I'm a Capricorn, and I have a tendency to be very sarcastic. I mean, sometimes I'm too sarcastic to where people go, what? I'm sorry. I'm in one of my sarcastic moods. You have to understand, I have Mercury in Pisces, and it falls right into my third house of communication. So when I'm talking and someone's rubbing me the wrong way, or someone's saying something that I'm going to disagree with, or if they're just being downright rude to someone, you're going to get it. My ex-husband used to say, you know, you're such a nice, pretty lady, you know, and you see something that's unjust, man, he goes, and you turn into the female white version of Richard Pryor. And that's true. I am the nicest person you're ever going to meet. Don't be a bully. Don't pick on the homeless. Don't pick on the weaker link, or you're going to have a problem with me, and I'm going to tell you. But I have learned to shut up when I need to shut up. It's all about being smart, and there's a time to speak, and there's a time to shut up. And coming into this Plutonic phase that we're getting ready to have the next 4 days starting tomorrow, this is not the time to start arguments with people, because people snap in this phase. Be very, very aware of that. I always remind myself, shut up in this phase. Just bite your tongue and walk away. It's because it's not worth your life. Life is more important. And let's see, what else do we have here? Well, that's the rundown on Tiffany and Denny's stars. Beautiful stars, you guys. I hope you enjoyed your chart. It was my pleasure doing that for you. I've seen a lot of other placements with people, and it's not so great. And, you know, you want to throw out the positive, but sometimes we can't. We have to be honest with people. I'm supposed to have a friend on with me. I don't know if we've gotten her on the line. While they're trying to get her on the line. This is my girlfriend, BJ. She is a local here with me. I want to do a quote here that I saw on Facebook, and I just thought it was so beautiful. I posted it, but nobody replied. So I'm going to use my power here on the radio to read this. The beauty of a woman is not in the clothes she wears, the figure that she carries, or the way she combs her hair. The beauty of a woman is seen in her eyes, because that is the doorway to her soul. It's the doorway to her heart, and a place where love resides. The true beauty in a woman is reflected in her soul. It's the caring that she lovingly gives, the passion that she shows, and the beauty of a woman only grows with passing years. That was written by Audrey Hepburn, the famous actress. And I have to agree with this statement because I know so many women out there that are, very vain, beautiful, very vain, but they are so damn ugly on the inside that they're just, ugh. In Italian, I would call them vecchia, old, brutto, ugly. Vecchio brutto, ugly and old. Then there's the women, and I'm going to use my mother as the example because back in the day, she was quite the dish. She's gorgeous, beautiful inside and out. Now that she's older, she said to me, I don't even look in the mirror anymore. Oh, what's to look at? I'm old and this and that. But that aura that she has, this aura that's around her, is so beautiful. So it doesn't matter what we look like. What matters is what's on the inside. As we age, it gets, for some of us, for some people, it's very hard to age gracefully. I don't have this problem because I'm Capricorn. Capricorns we rule old age. And it seems like the older we get, the younger we get. Not necessarily physically, but in our mental process. But as we are women, and, for women, when we get a few gray hairs, oh God, you're getting old. If a man gets a few gray hairs, what is he? He's distinguished. We're old and they're distinguished. But nowadays, women are looking great well into their, 50s, 60s, and 70s. I mean, some of the Hollywood people out there, they've been plucked and poked with Botox and surgery and all kinds of stuff. It's very interesting. But what I want to say to ladies out there is love yourself. Be true to thyself. Because if you don't love yourself, no one's going to love you. No one else is going to love you until you love yourself. You must love yourself first before you can open yourself up to love itself. I always say that to people. It pertains not just to everybody out there, but to myself too. We have to remember that. I want to get my guest on. I'm hoping that I'm sending a message to Denny right now. Hopefully they got her on. Anyway, let me look at what's going on in the chat while they're getting her on. The reason I'm having her on, not just because she's my dear friend, but when I talked about soulmate connections and sisterhood and sister connections, this is her. And they're having a hard time getting a hold of her. So bear with me. I'm giving her a text right now because I don't know where the hell she is. And if she just doesn't happen to get a hold of me, which is strange. I just talked to her a half hour ago. So now I'm getting kind of worried. Maybe I should just sit here and go down the whole line of Venus in every house with everyone so that everyone knows where their love placements are. But that's a little strange that she's not. Well, now that kind of pisses me off. All right. know what? I'm going to fire up my software until he's going to keep trying. And I appreciate what he's doing. I know sometimes it happens. If there's anyone out there, I have the software going. Wait a minute. What's going on here? He's saying it might be a Skype issue. Can you guys hear me okay in the chat? I'm seeing a lot of action. And I think you're all having a lot of fun in there. And Chris George, if you're listening, I hope your brother's feeling better. I won't say why. I want to say why. That was so damn hilarious. Well, it was hilarious for the rest of us. I'm sure your poor brother is suffering, and I'm sending him all the healing energy I can from California to your brother, Chris George. I'm going to go over something. They're still trying to call her, so they're saying Skype isn't good, but Skype calling is acting screwy. Okay. If there's anybody out there that wants to do a compatibility chart between themselves and someone they're dating, or married to, or seeing, or engaged to, throw it down into the chat. You can do that. You can even give me a call if you want. I never throw out the call numbers. I'm really sorry. I'm so bad at that. The number to call in is 1-607-441-6233. Once again, 607-441-6233. I'm going to go down the line here with the planet of love. If I have time and she doesn't call back, well, I just read him wrong. Did I? No. 607-441-6233. I got it right. Excellent. I'm going to go down the line here with the two planets, Mars, which is desire, and Venus, which is love. We all like to talk about love, you know. Love's a beautiful thing. Sometimes it's just about pure lust, and that's it. And that's okay, too. You know, you can have sex without loving someone. That's very possible. Trust me. Okay, so let's see. Trish. Okay, Trish, let me do this for you. And if someone's saying lust is Jeremy's middle name, well, right on, Jeremy. April 12th, and he's October 12th. Okay, and I need birth years here to do this, if you're comfortable with that. So, bear with me. I'm going to punch this in. April 12th, but I need a birth year. And otherwise I can't do it, hon. April, okay. Is Adam, okay, is Trish and Adam, now I'm looking at the chat. Adam's birthday is April 13th, 1977. Is that your hubby, Trish? Okay, never mind. Yes? No. Okay, let me do Trish first. So, 4/12/75. We can do this. 1975. And we're going to go with, bear with me. I've never done love charts on air before. I've done natals. I've done personal dragon dates, but I've never done love charts. But I don't mind. I think it'll be fun. And I'm going to, just give me a minute. The software has to process, and then once it does, it's slow. We got 20 minutes, so if I can get at least one chart read, I'm doing good. And I don't know what the heck happened to my guest, so I've texted her, and I have no idea what's going on. So, bear with me. Okay, so we've got Trish. I'm going to save that information, and I'm going to bring up her hubby. Okay. Now, the hubby is... I already punched I put in the hubby, right? Me and my hubby. Me, April 12th, and he's October 12th, October 21st, 1966. Okay, here we go. Male. 1966. Bear with me, Trish. I'm getting it. Software's a little slow. We're going to combine these two charts in a minute, but I have to get the information into the system so it recognizes your birthdays. It's a very simple software. I'm so blessed about John Holleran creating this. He's just absolutely phenomenal with this software. He's created software for the astrologer Levine. I don't know his first name. He's a modern astrologer. Excellent. So we're going to take that, we're going to compare that to another. And let's find Trish's chart, and we're going to combine them. Now, Trish, I have to ask, how long have you two been married? That's my next question. If you're comfortable revealing that. While my software is doing its little thing, it's calculating your reports. Bear with me. Bear with me. All right. Here we go. I go all the way down to the bottom to see the harmony index first. Then I'll go back to DTM's chat. Okay, well, the communication index is over 2,000. It's like at a 2,400. I know these are just numbers I'm throwing at you. I understand what they mean, even if you don't. And that's good. That's a good thing. Now, the moon, hubby's moon's in Aquarius, and Trish's moon is in Taurus. I need to go into the chat just to see if she's saying anything, because I got to clear all this out. Let's see. Trish. Alright. Summer. Sorry, I had to put my glasses on to read what's going on in the chat, because Linda is blind as a bat. Hearing spot on. You would think with all those heavy metal concerts I've been to, my hearing be shot, but no. Hearing's still very good. 12 years. Okay. Beautiful. Let's go back to your chart, and I'll break it down for you. There's something I do in the love chart that I offer to my clients that I know my teacher who taught me this doesn't do. I didn't do it with Denny's and Tiffany's chart because I didn't need to. I saw the numbers, but sometimes I have to go deeper into a chart, and I do need to do this with Trish's. But I combine what I do, the ancient astrology, and I incorporate synastry into it, or synastry, whatever you want to call it. This is very interesting to combine the two. Synastry is a form of astrology, love astrology, and me combining. I don't think any other astrologer does this. I kind of have my own method of doing this. It goes by a number system. Yes, it's all about numbers with me. I've got a Mercury in Capricorn. Numbers, numbers, numbers. So, I want to read this to Trish out there because I'm going to go through the breakdown. I don't have enough time to break everything down because we don't have that long. But, let me scroll down. Bear with me. My computer's extremely slow tonight. And I want to break this down for you guys because, and I'm going to read it on air if I can get to the numbers. Trish's Venus trines her husband's ascendant. An ascendant is the ascendant is the rising sign, sometimes called the descendant. This indicates mutual harmony and friendship and is frequently found between marriage and business partners. This is between partners in a love relationship. This is a strong sexual attraction. There is mutually supportive of each other's professional and social goals. This is very nice. The hubby's, and I'm sorry, Trish, I didn't get his name, so I'm calling him hubby. Hubby. Moon trines Trish's Venus. This is another beautiful aspect. Let me read this to you, Trish. There's a mutual sympathy. There's consideration and helpfulness between you two. You share a deep affection and devotion for each other. This aspect is an indication of a lasting attachment. You you are soothing, calming, and encouraging to each other, and you have many similar tastes and interests. You're very compatible. This is a highly favorable aspect in love and marriage and can help soothe over other unfavorable aspects between you. And there are never going to be a couple that is 100%. It's impossible because we're imperfect. We're human. You know, there's always going to be issues in a relationship. You have one aspect here. Hubby's moon squares Trisha's moon. And sometimes you may have difficulties in points of view. There's sometimes a result in lack of patience with each other, perhaps even lack of consideration. This doesn't mean this is all the time. And the beauty of, I say this, it is not normal for couples to not fight. If you have a couple who says, we never fight, not at all, we get along just fine, I'm sorry. But then what you're being is passive-aggressive. You're keeping everything inside of you, and that can have very detrimental outcomes. The beauty of fighting with your lover, whether it's a husband, a girlfriend, or just your lover, is that the makeup is always fun, isn't it? To make up with you, to make up with your spouse or your lover. And I've heard makeup sex is just great. Now, obviously, Trish and her husband, may have some issues, but the compatibility level is there wholeheartedly. There'll be minor aspects here, and you may not see eye to eye on some things, and that's okay. And marriage is hard. I'm legally separated, and I'm going to share this with all of you. My ex and I did our compatibility chart, and I kind of was floored by the harmony index. It was at like 11.75, and I've never seen numbers that high in my entire life, and I'm going, okay, what does that mean? I had to go and ask my teacher. The student was asking the teacher, I've stumbled across something I've never stumbled across, and it happens to be within my own self. And he said to me, both of you were murdered together in a past life, whether you were husband and wife, brother and sister. He says the karmic connection there is so intense that there's a bond that will never be broken. And that is true. He and I we're good friends. Great friends. I still go to heavy metal concerts with him every now and then. We're good friends. There are other aspects of the relationship that I'm not going to get into, but we were good friends and still are. And it sets a good example for my children, because a lot of my children's friends are divorced. The parents are always fighting, and that's not good. It's hard to get along with one another, but you have to set these examples, especially if you have children. It shows your children that you're willing to work at something at all costs. And Trish is saying, he drives me crazy. He's supposed to drive you crazy. And BJ's in the chat room, too. I do have time for you. I've got 10 minutes if she can get into the chat and to Skype. But BJ, you're in the chat, so why don't you chat? Why don't BJ type away and tell everyone how you and I met, if you can. She and I met through, how do I say that? How do I say it? I don't know if she's going to do it, and I don't have much time. I have 10 minutes left. She was dating someone from a radio station I was working at back in the day. And she was on a date with him. It was a meet and greet for all the hosts. All the hosts from that station were there, including myself. And the former host that I worked with brought her as his date. They were dating. She and I sat next to each other and just started yakking away. Clicked instantly. I felt like I knew her my entire life. she felt the same about me. Now, granted, I'm sure if Barbara and I were a couple of lesbians, we'd probably be married by now. But we like men, damn it. Those damn men. We made a connection with each other. It was a soul sister connection. And I'm trying to, Barbara, if you're listening, they're trying to call you, but they can't seem to make contact with you, hon. So I don't know what's happening, but we'll try this again next week. I don't have a guest next week either. I made it so I'm going solo for Virgo's birthday. Let's try this again next week, or call in. Here's the number, 1-607-441-6233. Call in, Barb. 1-607, I'm going to post it in the thing, 1-607-441-6233. I would love for her to tell this story if she can, but we might not have time. Anyway, when I was talking at the beginning of the show, I was talking about sister connections and how you click. There's another female I just recently met, and we had this connection too. I saw her in the chat a minute ago, but I don't see her anymore, and that is Annette. Met her a while back, and we had this instant connection as well. So it looks like we're having some Skype issues. I'm glad everyone can hear me just fine, but obviously we're not going to be able to get Barb on. We'll try and get Barb on next week. Barb, if you're listening, give me a thumbs up or a yes. I would love for them to meet you, because you've done shows with me before, and when I was on Blog Talk and I had Barb on, the ratings was through the roof. A Scorpio and a Capricorn rock on the radio. Our energy is right there. Just something about Scorpio. I've dated some Scorpio men before. I won't go into that. that was kind of interesting. It's all about sex. But hopefully next week we'll be able to get BJ on. I call her Barb. I probably blew her cover. I'm not used to calling her BJ. That is her radio name. Adam is an Aries. All right, Adam. I don't think I have enough time to do a reading on you, hon, but let me ask you a question, Adam. Last year at this time, were you having like major financial problems or issues with money? And right now in your life, do you feel like nothing's... I'm having issues with Aries not feeling like anything's going right for them. Nothing's working for them. Okay, yes, I've heard that before. I feel lost. I don't know which road to take. Adam, I want you to know that this energy is... I talk about a dragon head and tail. The energy, the tail is right on you, babe. And it's not going to go away until August of 2015. We have a whole nother year to go. But that doesn't mean you can't get through this. On a positive, you got Jupiter moving through your 5th house of love. So I don't know if you have a girlfriend or anything, but something in the love department may just spark for the next year. And maybe it's finding that girl or that woman that might keep your head above water and realize you're waiting on surgery. Okay, Adam, I want to tell you something about surgery. I only have another minute to go, so I'm going to make this quick. Trish, do you have any more questions for me? alphastarradio@gmail.com. I will send this love chart over to you, hon, if you contact me so I can email it to you. alphastarradio@gmail.com. That's for Trish and her hubby. Adam, I just lost my train of thought. I need you to hang in there, okay? You're waiting on surgery. If you're having anything removed in surgery, you want to do this in a wanting lune. If you're having something added into your body, you want to do this in the waxing lune, when the new moon is from new till full. I'm going to discuss this next week, okay, the moon a little bit, along with Virgo's forecast. I'm going to tell people when's the best time to have surgery for certain things. And I'm talking even you ladies out there who get Botox and fillers and all that stuff. Believe it or not, there are times in the moon that won't go well for you unless you follow the universal laws of the moon that have been in place for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 years ago. The reason I did my show tonight on sex was because a religion always makes sex out to be taboo or naughty or this. We're humans. Sex was put here for a reason, not just to procreate. It's been put here because it feels great. You know, who doesn't want a good shag? You know? It's great for stress. It's great for the libido. It's great all around. My time is up. BJ, we'll get to you next week. I gave him both numbers, babe, but we're having some Skype issues. It happens. I love you. See you next week. And remember those dates, everyone. 29th, 30th, 31st, and the 1st. Be careful and make love, not war. Peace out. Have a great Friday night, everybody. Have a great show, Chris George. Talk to you later. Night.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your To
start your show now, press 1.
Your show is scheduled to start in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Two minutes until showtime.
Baker.
Hello, hi, yes, I'm the producer for Chris George's show, Vision Quest. He said you're going to be his guest tonight?
Yes.
Okay, I was just bringing you on. Chris will be in just 1 second.
I'm here now.
Okay, great.
Oh, okay, he beat me to it. All right, there he goes.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm wonderful. You ready for a great show?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Give me 1 second. We go live probably in about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
1 minute and 10 seconds, Chris.
Okay.
Well, hello.
Hello, Victor.
Hello.
1
Hello.
minute until showtime.
Okay, Mr. Adams, I believe, is here.
Hello, Jeremy. My phone's still ringing.
Oh, my God, Chris, what are you doing? Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, not one of those shows.
Oh, my God.
Stop it.
That angle was so weird.
That show, oh, my God, Linda's show really messed you up, didn't it, Chris? You and Jeremy there had this bond going. It was so beautiful.
Jeremy's my boy.
Oh, my gosh. That was awesome.
Oh, hold on. I need to mute. Hold on.
Okay, 10 seconds, guys.
Shit.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4,